Let's start this video by repairing this keyway. This is where the Woodruff, that's this key right here. See, I have two of them. These are brand new. You've seen the previous one, how damaged they are. So I want to replace this into this slot here and this one here. We can see this one is perfect. It just needs to be cleaned out like this one. We need to get it real shiny, no rust, no grease, no paint, no dirt, before we could install these ones that I have here. So we can see this side here has movement to it, and this side here is perfect. So placing the Woodruff key against that side, that flat side, is an accurate position for maintain precise timing, mechanical timing. We don't want to place it on this side because this is not accurate. This is the damage. So the first thing we want to do here is we want to get a piece of sandpaper and just get in there, start scrubbing that rust out in the corners and in the flat spot. We just want to get this absolutely clean, and then we could proceed with cleaning it more with some solvent and replacing that Woodruff key. So that's the best you can get at. You don't want to use any mechanical tools in there. You want to get in there with your hand and the sandpaper, and then we're going to use some of this brake part cleaner. This is going to clean out any grease. Now we just have to let that dry, and then we're going to use this here. This is the JB Well. It's 5020 psi of strength for holding that Woodruff key in position. This is what I like about this product. Every time I see something with the made in USA, I feel proud of using it, because you have to understand, as a teenagers, all our cars, tools, parts, and repair was made in the USA. We never saw made in China. So I'm very happy to see this product is made in USA, and I've been using it since the 80s, and it never failed me. So as you can see, it's household repair, automotive, plumbing, marine, craft, and more. On the back there's instruction. You basically just mix it 1 to 1. And for example, it says here, instruction: you have to clean repair area of dirt, grease, oil, paint, rust, which is what we just got rid of there, the rust. And you're going to squeeze it equal amount, mix it together. We're going to fill it in there, and then we're going to sit the Woodruff key in there and let it cure. This says it's 24 hours. So in the meantime, while we're doing that, once we're finished with that repair, then we're going to have to fix this on the bottom here. So it goes like this. We're going to have to figure it out, but we're going to use the same JB Well for fixing this back on the bottom here, so we don't have to replace this oil pump. So while this is drying, we're going to work on this on the bottom here. And this repair is probably going to take about 3 days for us to fix, because we have to wait for the JB Well to dry. Now I just want to test fit this front Woodruff key, making sure it fits in that slot. So we can see that's good in there. Then this one is going to go in the back here. Now I just want to get that sprocket on for the cam timing. So this is the old cam sprocket, and this is the new one that I purchased from Nissan. So what we want to compare here is we want to look at the sides. We see it's the same. The width is the same. And we want to look at the keyway, and the timer mark is here, timer mark is here. So let's try this new one. I just want to get this front keyway out because this is for the crankshaft pulley. So that's perfect. Absolutely perfect. You see how it's moving? Well, that is what was messing up the engine and causing the rattling and waste of fuel, excessive fuel consumption. So this fits perfect in there. Now we just need to get that JB weld in there and bond this one in position. This one here, we might not bond it in position since it's in perfect condition. And this one is for holding the crankshaft pulley. This one is for holding the timing sprocket. So let's go and mix this JB weld half and half. You don't have to use the whole tube. You just need a little P from this one, a P from this one. That's the steel, that's the hardener. We're going to fill it in there, let it dry, and we're going to hit it with some sandpaper. That's what we're going to use. So when you first open this package, you're going to see it has some like clear liquid with it. I don't know if that's some residue or overrun, but you want to mix it like this so it gets to gray. Mix it real good. You might have an hour to play with this. The package says 4 hours, and then 24 hours it's finally hardened and fixed into position. So now this is the best and the only way for fixing this crankshaft snout. Any other way you might have to remove the crankshaft and just replace it. So we just want to fill in here with that JB weld. Like I said, this is this is one of the best cold fusion bonding agent or adhesive on the market. There's nothing better than this. I've used it for years now. Everything from plastic to metal, plastic bumper repair, all kind of stuff. There's nothing better. So I'm gonna fill this good. Sit this in there. So I want to brace it to this corner, clear all this out of there. Now you're going to need a cloth, of course, to clean your hands and cleaned up around the job. So now we want to fill this cavity. Just want to take some of this and just fill the nose area. That's going to give it extra rigidity. And I want to do the same thing for the rear of the keyway. Once I finish with that, I want to take the sprocket, but not now. I just want to clear this up a little. The other side. Very important to have that ridge. Now I'm going to take the sprocket and I'm going to slide it over the Keyway because I want to set it so when it dry, the sprocket will not have any problem going on. So that's set right there. So now I'm going to remove it. I'm going to leave it like that. The sprocket has to get cleaned out from that JB weld. You don't want that to bond in there. If it does, you could always use a sandpaper and get in there, but it's best to clean it out when it's soft. Now, if you don't want that JB weld to bond itself to the sprocket, just place some water in there or some saliva, and then you could slide it on and everything will be good. So now we're going to leave this here and let it dry, and tomorrow we're going to come back and then we could sand it down, remove all the excess from the side. But what I really want to do is I just want to build a rear, that JB weld, because it's going to give it extra strength for holding it. And this front. So you get the idea. Now, if you have to do what I'm doing here, I would just put some spit on my hand and you could work it to the way you want it. Now we let that dry. Tomorrow, give 12 hours tonight, go to sleep tonight, and we're going to come back and deal with this by sanding it up, cleaning it out, and then we could place our timing sprocket on, install our timing belt, then we have to install this oil seal. Okay there, buckaroos, you may never have this problem because you know you like spending $1 to get everything fixed. So to fix that bottom piece of the oil pump that was broken off, we had to bolt this lower half of the timing belt cover so that one screw down there could hold that piece fixed to the fixture. Now remember, we used that JB weld for adhesiving that aluminum broken piece. Now let's remove this lower timing belt cover with those 3 screws and see if that piece remain fixed to the oil pump. So you see there's a masking tape on the cover. Well, that masking tape is there, so if any of the JB weld is to become stuck to the cover, it wouldn't do so. It will most likely become stuck to the masking tape, making it easy for removing this lower half of the timing belt cover. Success in removing this lower bolt without any problem. Now we have to use that 8mm socket on a 1/4" drive for getting this one off and that one off, and then we're going to remove this cover. Well, we're successful in removing those 2 bolts, and the timing belt lower half cover did not move a bit. So let's see what happened when I try to take this out of position. You can see it's stuck there. It's really stuck, and that's the tape it's stuck on. So we really want to be gentle with this. Because remember, don't want to break a piece. So this is the purpose of the masking tape. See, if we didn't have the masking tape there, that JB Weld will just become bonded to the cover, and then when we remove the cover, this will break. So we still have another 12 hours, 24 hours for this to fully cure. But what's going to be done here is this area here is going to be filled with more JB Weld, and at the rear for extra strength. So we're successful at fixing the broken aluminum piece to the oil pump. Now in the next video, let's take a look at replacing this oil pump crankshaft snout seal for the Geo rotor oil pump. Before more bonding agent can be applied in this area here, if you notice, we pass a sandpaper on the surface of both sides of the metal and remove any excess of the masking tape that will most likely become stuck to that JB Weld. Now, one thing we have to be careful here, I don't know if you're able to see this with the camera, but that's the timing mark for the crankshaft sprocket. So we're going to have to make a greater impression with that timing mark using this saw blade. Just pushing it like that in there so it does not disappear. And we also have to keep that bonding agent or that JB Weld away from this timing mark, because it's essential for setting up the timing belt. One last final look at that repair. You can see we have put some extra bonding agent there. When that dry, you can use a sandpaper for sanding it out. Let's take a look at the rear. Let's get in the rear. It's difficult to see there. So you can see we pile extra bonding agent to the rear of that fixture and on the sides. Now we have to wait for that to dry 24 hours, and then it's hard as steel. So we did not have to remove the oil pan and the oil pump, because if we had to remove the oil pan, you know what's involved in there. Take a look at the previous videos. We are complete at restoring that keyway into the crankshaft snout. So that keyway, which is also a Woodruff, is properly installed, and we want to check that by installing the new crankshaft timing belt sprocket. So we can see it's tightly fitted in there, which is what we want. It's not able to remove by hand, so you have to get something on the back there to just pry it out. But that is the idea. So just want to get this screwdriver in the back there. Now you see, I really want a tight fitting because I don't want this sprocket to rattle again. So that's the idea, repair that. But what I really want to do is in the rear here, I want to build a step to it like the front here for holding this Woodruff key more rigid onto the crankshaft snout. But you have gotten the idea. Now this has cost us about 10 bucks, and that's the cost of the JB Weld and 3 days of waiting. It would have cost us more if we had to remove the crankshaft, purchase a new one, and replace it. Now we're going to test this out, install the timing belt, replace that oil seal. There's another video on how to replace that oil seal. You just can't pull it out and put it back in. There are things that has to get done in there to make sure that the oil seal don't leak, because this is a pressure area from the pump. Sometimes you'll get oil pressure at the rear of the seal, and there are things that has to be done to relieve that pressure. So this is bring us to the end of this part of the video. We're going to continue with installing the oil seal and replacing the timing belt.